Humanity had been invited into the galactic fold for just over a decade, but to many alien races, Earth's inhabitants were still a mystery. To the Altari, one of the most advanced species in the galaxy, humans were little more than an enigma. Primitive, unpredictable, and oddly emotional. Sergeant James "Jax" Harlow had spent the better part of his life in the military, but he never thought he'd find himself on the Altari homeworld, working with one of their elite squads as part of a diplomatic mission. It wasn't supposed to be complicated. He was trained, well-disciplined, and known for keeping his emotions in check. That was until they paired him with an Altari warrior. Her name was K'lira. K'lira was everything Jax wasn't. She was tall, her body a perfect blend of strength and grace, with skin that shimmered like liquid metal. Her eyes glowed a soft amber, filled with a complexity Jax couldn't decipher. Her people, the Altari, were known for their deep-rooted intelligence and their stoic, almost detached emotional demeanor. Their society viewed relationships as transactional, devoid of the wild passion that often fueled human bonds. But K'lira's mission was different. She was tasked with working alongside the human, understanding the unique qualities of the species, and seeing if the alliances could truly survive their cultural differences. Jax had heard the rumors before he met her, that Altari had little interest in the petty emotions of other species, and that any bonds they formed were solely for the purpose of tactical advantage. At least that's what he thought. The first day they met was tense, with Jax struggling to hide his skepticism and K'lira's cool detachment apparent in her body language. She didn't speak much, preferring to observe him from a distance. Jax couldn't understand why, but something about the way she watched him made him uncomfortable. It wasn't just curiosity, it was something more, something intense. For the first few weeks, their training sessions were nothing more than practical exercises. Fighting, strategizing, and testing the limits of their combined abilities. K'lira was exceptional, moving with the precision of a machine. Jax, on the other hand, was instinctual, relying on his gut and training to guide him. Despite their differences, Jax began to admire her. There was an untouchable elegance to the way she moved, the way she absorbed information. But there was something deeper, something beneath the surface, that he couldn't quite place. It was during a late-night reconnaissance mission that everything began to change. They were on the outskirts of an alien settlement, crouching behind a series of rocks. Jax scanned the area through his scope, while K'lira kept her senses attuned to the slightest movement. Her body was nearly glowing in the dark, and Jax couldn't help but be captivated by the sight. "You're distracted," K'lira remarked, her voice low, though there was an unmistakable edge to it. Jax didn't answer right away. He knew he was distracted, but he didn't want to admit it. K'lira had been silent for days, her presence almost overwhelming as they spent more time together. He thought it was just his imagination, but now, in the silence of the night, he realized that he wasn't the only one who felt it. There was tension between them, an unspoken force that neither of them seemed able to ignore. "What's going on with you?" Jax asked, his voice quieter than usual. "You've been off." K'lira hesitated, her amber eyes glinting in the dark. "I am a warrior. I do not experience things the way you do." Jax wasn't convinced. "What do you mean?" She finally met his gaze, her eyes intense. "The emotions you humans possess. They confuse me. They are not efficient, but I find myself drawn to them. And to you." Jax blinked, momentarily taken aback. "Drawn to me? What do you mean?" K'lira didn't answer immediately, and for a long moment, the only sound was the hum of their equipment. Then, with a quiet intensity, she added, "I have never felt this before. You are not like the others." Jax felt his heart race in a way that was entirely unfamiliar. For the first time since they began working together, he wasn't sure how to respond. It felt like the ground beneath him had shifted, and he was no longer on stable footing. The next few days were tense. K'lira's behavior changed. Her distance became more pronounced, but there were moments when her gaze lingered on Jax a little too long, her eyes softer than before. She had spoken the truth, but Jax still didn't fully understand what it meant. They continued their mission, but every moment felt charged, heavy with unspoken words. It wasn't until they found themselves cornered during a combat situation that everything exploded. The ambush was sudden. Alien forces, who had no idea of the fragile peace between the humans and Altari, had surrounded them. K'lira fought like a force of nature, but the odds were against them. Jax was just a human, not prepared for this level of combat. He was out of his element. As a wave of enemy soldiers rushed toward them, K'lira made a decision that would change everything. She pushed Jax out of harm's way, taking the brunt of an explosion that sent her crashing to the ground. "No!" Jax shouted, rushing to her side, fear flooding his chest. She was unconscious, her skin scorched and bruised. He had never seen her vulnerable before, and it shook him to his core. The cool, composed warrior was now a broken figure before him. Her eyes fluttered open, and she weakly reached for him. "Jax, He grasped her hand, desperate to keep her conscious. "Hold on, K'lira. Don't you dare." "I cannot." Her voice was faint. "I wanted to be with you." Jax's heart pounded as her words hit him with the force of 1,000 storms. She didn't just admire him, she had feelings for him. Deep, complex feelings that she was still trying to understand. "I want you too," Jax whispered, his voice raw. But then there was a surge of energy. The surrounding enemies were eliminated by a strike from the Altari reinforcements, and K'lira was quickly taken to the medics. Jax stayed with her, not leaving her side until she woke up. Weeks passed, and K'lira recovered, but the change between them was undeniable. The bond between them had shifted. K'lira was no longer distant. She was more open, though still careful. Jax knew she was learning to accept the emotional intricacies of human connection, something that her species had never fully embraced. But even so, she was still K'lira, the stoic warrior from a distant world. And Jax wasn't sure how to navigate the feelings that had sprung up between them. On the last night of their mission, before they would return to their respective worlds, K'lira approached him. "I have never been with a human before," she said, her voice low but filled with something Jax could only describe as need. "But you have made me understand that we are not so different after all. I want to experience what it means to be with you." Jax smiled softly, his heart full of understanding. "I've felt it too, K'lira. Let's see where this takes us." And as they stood there, the stars of the galaxy swirling above them, they both knew that this was only the beginning. It was no longer about diplomacy or strategy. It was about two beings from different worlds, finding common ground in the most unexpected of places.